Hey, Darth, welcome in. Yeah, I had a good time. This is really the first time I've ever stayed near Solvang. I've been in Solvang, but it's been like one of those drive through. We get out, walk around for an hour, and then leave. It was kind of interesting having the perspective of staying there for a few days. The wedding was nice. Yeah, it was just a little outdoor thing. There were probably, I don't know, 50 people maximum. Oh yeah, the weather was nice. Got a little chilly after dark. That kind of tends to happen in California, but I was prepared for that. Hey, Tracy. Yeah, it has been a while. Welcome back. Yeah, wow. She's back. We got to wait a little bit, get a few people in here to see to see the treat or the trite. I think what happened there is I was thinking about treat, and Tracy posted Bite's name, and I kind of blended the two together. Bite and treat turned into trite. Is that what you are? Is that who you are now? Is your trite? That actually probably wouldn't be a bad name, would it? He was a little standoffish pretty quick there for a while, but that ended. I don't know, probably about the moment the brush came out, he was fine again. Good morning, Yvonne. I've been trying to give him a little bit more attention lately. So, good morning, Gene. Yeah, he's pretty spoiled. He was a little mad at me when I got home, but he got over it, as you can see. I know the second I shot that, the bird took the chomp out of the camera. I said, "Oh man, I got to show that back in slow motion." And went for my finger a couple seconds later. Hey, Eric. Well, yeah, on the invitation, they recommended a particular place, and I looked at the prices like, I ain't paying that. That's crazy. Now, part of the problem was Memorial Day weekend, so that was, maybe not the best idea of when to do it, but and that was why Ostrich Land was so packed that day too. You had to make appointments to get into the place. Normally, you could just drive up and walk in, but they said because it's Memorial Day, you gotta register online because they had a limited number of spaces they could do it. And that place was packed, and Solvang was packed too. Holy cow! Well, I thought that's what I was doing, John, when I was feeding them. Thought I was buying their friend or their friendship here. It didn't work. Yeah, it's kind of a fun place. I mean, I've seen it now. I walked around town a few times and basically, stuck my head in all the shops that I thought would be mildly interesting. Somebody I knew at work has emus too. You get a job at Amazon? Oh, that's awesome. Congratulations. A robotics associate. What does that mean? Is that you control the robots? Because I know a lot of that place is robotic, where they got like the robots kind of move stuff around. No, no, they ask for no presents. I mean, both of them are older people, so they both kind of lived life. So it's not like it's a young couple getting married and they need all the necessities of life. They have all the necessities of life. So I sort of understood that. Nobody was doing presents, so I didn't either. I mean, the fact that I spent a ton of money flying there and all that stuff, that was enough, I think. Yeah, it sort of does, John. You're right. Well, I mean, I knew I wasn't going to buy any rocks there because, I already had, I was flying light. I was, just had a backpack and that was all I had. And that thing was packed as hard as it was going anyway. Anything I bought, I would have to ship home. So I guess I never really thought that I was going to, bring anything home with me. But it was still fun to see. And like I said, they had some amazing stuff in that store. It was all wildly overpriced. Well, it's a tourist spot. What do you expect? Oh, that's really cool, Eric. That's good money too. Holy cow. Oh, well more than double. Yeah. I mean, I didn't even ask what that moldavite that I showed you was. There was a beautiful piece there I would have loved to take home. And that would have been something I could have taken home because that's small. That could just go in, you know, in the shower bag or something like that, and it'd be fine. But I didn't even ask the price. The piece I got was $800, and I'm sure that was 2 to 3 times that. Job's going good. Oh man, this is a crazy week this week, so I'm glad it's over. But a lot of good overtime this week. Yeah, I wasn't there to haggle because, like I said, I wasn't going to take anything home with me, so it was just fun to see it. No, I haven't. Last time I got rocks was at the rock show about a month ago, and I told Kara because last week would normally have been my rock shop trip, and since I was in Solvang 2 weeks earlier when I was there last, I said, yeah, probably won't be here for a few weeks now because next week is Solvang, and the week after that is my off week, and so probably be a couple weeks. So she'll see me next week, hopefully. Hmm. Yeah, I know. Well, I really maybe overdid it a little bit at the rock show, but that's good. Well, right now it's just a display platform, and I got the stuff on it just on sawhorses right now. Ultimately, I want to buy or build the cabinet that goes underneath it, but it's going to be that way for a little while. Yeah, I did use the trailer. That's basically what that's for. Is when I'm transporting that kind of stuff home. Flash is doing great. In fact, you're going to laugh at this. I saw a couple of days ago. I think it was probably last Tuesday before I went back to work. Flash was in the garden. She got into the garden and was chomping on the jalapenos and the Anaheim peppers. Apparently, she likes them. Speaking of Anaheim peppers, check out that bad boy. I got a bunch of them too. I harvested them all this morning here, so doing good on that. And I harvested all my jalapeno peppers and pickled those last week, so we're getting good here. The peppers are already already starting to produce, and the tomatoes aren't far away. There's a bunch of tomatoes now that are probably the size of a plum on my vine. So hopefully they'll be red, in a week or so and ready for eating. I'm ready. Can have a lot of tomatoes. I know. I guess she isn't. I guess she doesn't taste the heat. She just tastes the taste that it's a vegetable. But yeah, she got in the garden, and I found like two of them that were like partially eaten. Well, it turns out, no, there aren't any actual lectures going on at this place, but I did find a guy who had a YouTube channel, and he did a YouTube video about his trip to Madagascar, where he retrieved a whole bunch of Labradorite, including one of the pieces I got. The guy that was on camera, remember the guy that was talking about the Labradorite that I bought and explaining how he'd gone to Madagascar. Looked up his video and watched it, and it was really interesting because I mean, it wasn't just you fly into Madagascar and it's right there. No, it was like a 24-hour road trip across basically desert and mud to get out to the place where this stuff was. Yeah, splitting that geode was kind of fun too. I mean, I've never actually seen one done, so that was kind of fun. And it turned out to be a really cool piece. In fact, I brought that piece in to show Kara, and she said she told me what she thought the red thing was in that. I think she said it was Mangano calcite, which is why it glowed pink under the black light. So that was kind of cool. Now it's possible some of the larger rock shows, have lectures and stuff if it's like a trade show kind of thing. But this seems to be a traveling kind of thing where people go from one show to the next showing the same stuff. You were looking at the camera a minute ago until I turned the camera and faced you, didn't I? Didn't you? Yes, you did. We didn't really trip over it, I think, but he said he saw it sticking out of the ground at an angle like that. We got a request for a treat here. Do you get a treat? Have you been good enough for a treat? I don't know. Have you? Ow! My finger again, dude. He knows it's in there, but he can't quite find it. You have to start wearing bite-resistant gloves here. You need a trite. I know that's your name now, dude. You're trite. Yeah, it's something I think I'd like to do at some point too. Uh, Tracy is go and see if I can find some of this stuff myself. Apparently, there are places here in Texas where you can find certain things, and they got a lot of like places, I guess, around where you can go in and just go mining yourself and keep whatever you find. I don't know if I'd go that far, Darth. Either of those, I don't know. Either of them sound kind of weird. You're a little less aggressive now, not lunging at it anymore. Okay, that's probably it. Because you are kind of fat, aren't you? Yes, you are. Indiana Breck. I don't know. I don't know. It sounds kind of derivative. Besides, then Indiana Jones didn't look for rocks. He just got chased by rocks. Yeah, those are kind of fun. I like watching them too, but I don't know if I'd be as much into going on an archaeological dig as I would be like, going to try and find rocks in some place. So like I said, there's a few places I've heard where you can go find kind of cool stuff here in Texas. It might be something I'd do for a trip sometime. Yeah, I'd like to think that their life improved a little bit when they came to join me. Speaking of wildlife in my backyard, I want to show you something here. Stand by here. I shot this a few minutes right before the live stream this morning in my backyard. Okay, I had a little visitor in the backyard. The squirrels weren't happy about it either. You can hear them kind of barking at it in the tree. Sorry for the shaky camera a little bit. It's I had it on extreme zoom, so any movement gets amplified. basically, I guess he got in my backyard and had to figure out how to get out. And well, he planned his escape here. You'll watch and see what he does. That's interesting. They're the same highway that the squirrels use for getting to my house or getting to the neighbor's house. Very few of them touch the ground except when they're down and looking for food. They just got this network of trees that they follow, and all the trees kind of grow together so they can go from one tree to another. And there's a squirrel that was so mad at him, he's barking at him. So I don't know. I thought that was funny. I have a little different reaction to possums in my yard now versus when I was in California. In California, the possums always got into my yard and ate my goldfish. And I found them in my pond a couple of times. Or I'd come out in the morning and there'd been a goldfish apocalypse the night before. There were like dead carcasses of half consumed goldfish all over the yard. Yeah, I love that geode. That would have been the great table too. And I was thinking, I was originally thinking like a square piece of glass, but I bet a round piece of glass, maybe 30, 36 inches in diameter would be perfect on that. To light it up with like some LEDs to light up the amethyst inside, that could have been awesome. Yeah, I see all sorts of interesting birds in the yard, including hawks and kites. See a few of those in the area. You remember I had that kite that hung out in the yard for about a week, for about a day or two. I did a video on it, and then just took off one day. Mhm. I thought it was weird too. I don't remember ever seeing him out during the day. That I see him around here at night, and in California, same thing. They seem to kind of lay low during the day, so I thought that was weird that it was out too. This was like almost 11 in the morning here. Yeah, well, still got the video I told you about. I think a few weeks ago. That's still kind of in a work in progress. Um, and that'll be a kind of a fun one to do. That will be less pressure than the last video because the last video, um, involved documented some, stuff that's documented as a process. So the video had to be perfect. This one isn't tied to any processes. This is more just something about data collection and how to use it. Let's see, was Rhonda with us last? I think Rhonda and Logan were with us last week when I was in Solvang. Haven't seen her today. I've never heard of rabies in the area. And actually, I'm told possums very rarely carry rabies. I know I ran into that once in California. I had like I said, I had a pond with fish in it, and I had a big wooden or big cardboard box filled with the food for the goldfish I left out there. They were little pellets that kind of looked like Cheerios, except they weren't round. They were like just straight little pellets. And I had a possum get into that box once and was chomping on it, and I reached in to grab it, and the possum bit me. And I ended up calling. I captured it and called Vector Control. They came and picked it up, and they said at the time that it's very rare. I think they'd had 2 registered cases of possum or a possum with rabies in like 80 years or something like that. So apparently, it's really rare. That's interesting. I wonder if that's some special thing because I don't see anything that would allow me to do that. It gives me a couple of options. I can have it, automatic where they just drop it in whenever they want, or I can do manual or off basically. And if or set it up as an interval where it happens every certain amount of time, and that's what I do. I usually set it up to run every 12 minutes, and that's just kind of how they do that. But I didn't see anything that allows me to share the screen with them. Unless, I mean, it's possible and just turning monetization off on YouTube and going through their own sponsors, at which point I would guess they could probably do whatever they want. That's probably how that's working. Because I hear people talk about like software interfaces that you can use to interface with YouTube to give you more control over stuff. I honestly don't know, Susan. I just know that I get a check every month. I mean, like I said, I've heard of these software interfaces that you can get, and I've thought about doing that. And I kind of stopped thinking about it when, or at least, didn't think about it as much when YouTube added a feature where I could, like, put other stuff up on the screen, not just the camera of me. How I could put up that video of the possum a minute ago. That gives you a lot of control. Oh, I don't know. I don't have anything planned for a trip now. I got one more video that'll come up on Tuesday from the Solvang trip. Yeah, Yellowstone, it's got to happen. It'll happen at some point. Sorry, there's like a smudge or something on the camera here. There, I think I got it. I don't know. I don't watch any other vloggers. Yeah, Jordan does them all, occasionally. I don't think he does them very much anymore, though. I mean, he used to do them all the time. He'd do them just at a drop of a hat. I mean, I think I like it better at this format where we're just nice and small. There's like 15 or 17 of us in here right now. I think if you get like thousands of people like, Adam or Jordan can do, it's just, it's overwhelming because the comments are whizzing by so fast that you can't read any of them. With just a few people in here, it's manageable. I read every comment that goes up. Yeah, Solvang was fun. Like I said, I've been there before, but it's always just been a in and out on the same day here. Let's see what's going on here. Susan just sent me a message here. Let's see what we got. Oh, it seems to be an answer to the question about whether I get more from videos or live streams. I guess the conclusion is that they don't. But then again, with the videos, there's a super chat button that I can do on the lives, which aren't available on the videos. But there's Patreon, there's all that kind of stuff. So hello, Gene. Yeah, I've heard people talk about that. That's not cool. I don't know. Like I said, I got a big boy job, so I'm not really depending on this for money. So it's never really been that big a thing. Yeah, Tracy's here today, everyone. I don't know what my subscriber count is yet. Let's go look here. Hang on here. It's another one of those things I don't really watch that close. I mean, I guess I notice when I go over a certain point. Looks like I'm 58.7. So yeah, we're getting there, I guess. Let's see what's the actual subscriber count here. 5876 is the magic number. So I don't know. I gain. It says I've gained 20 in the last 28 days. So I don't know. We'll hit that in what are we looking about 6 months at that rate? Yeah. So that's where we are. I can tell. Well, I know when I have days where I lose subscribers. I get a daily count. Uh, Actually, I'm just going to take you behind the scenes here. I'm going to do something probably you don't get to see very often here. Okay, we're going to do this here. I think I've done this before, but we're going to do it again. I'm going to go. This is the dashboard. This is when I log in as the uh, the moderator of the channel here. This is the screen I see. And when I get here over here where it's analytics, I can see kind of the stuff that's happening. This is kind of daily views, I think. So you can see like, I had 200 views on May 4, 295 on the 5th, so on and so forth. You can kind of see what it is. And then these little marks here, this one is when you do a live stream. This one is when I do a video. So you can see I did 2 videos this week, 2 videos that week. There have been 2 out this week. And of course, we got the live stream going now. I have this button called subscribers. And so I get a daily total of did I gain, did I lose subscribers each day. And so you can see here on May 21, I lost 2 subscribers on average. That doesn't mean that it was 2 subscribers I lost and no gain. It might have been that I gained 6 and lost 8. It's just the cumulative total of how my total changed every day. But even there, you see, I don't make a lot of money, $40. So yeah, it doesn't matter. Like I said, I'm not focused on that. Over here, it's kind of interesting. You can see an hour by hour when people are watching. And so, like for instance, this hour here was when the ostrich land video went up last night or yesterday afternoon. And then people watched it, and it kind of fiddles out at night. And then got a whole bunch of you watching the live stream right now, and so that's all part of that. I don't know. That's kind of a peek behind the curtain there, how things work. No, I wasn't going to get kicked by the ostriches. Being pecked because they were behind a fence. There was either a hole that they could stick their head through, or they could peek their head over the top of the fence. There was no way they were going to like kick me or something like that. It doesn't work that way. There was that one that was really a jerk though, kept chasing the other ostrich away. Well, Jordan is the single biggest is responsible for the single biggest 1 day gain of subscribers I ever had. I think I've told this story before, but there was one time where, with YouTube, you have to have like 10,000 view hours and 1,000 subscribers before you can monetize the channel. At least that's the way it was when I started. I don't know if it's changed now, but I was like at 980. I'd blown past the 10,000 hours, but I was at like 980, and it was just kind of holding there. And I was mentioning that to Jordan. He said, "Hold on a minute." And he started a live stream called "Breck Needs Your Help," and he explained what was going on. And before the end of the day, well, no, before the live stream was done, he'd blown me past 1,000. By the next day, I was at 2,000, and it ended up 2,500 or something at the end. By the time it all kind of fizzled down, so Jordan's had a huge influence on this channel. I know. I was surprised how much footage I got from the slow mo. But the second the ostrich took the chomp at the camera, I said, "Oh man, I'm going to stop that. I'm going to play the footage live, and I'm going to stop, and I'm going to back it up, and I'm going to play it in slow motion, like 1/10 normal speed, because I bet you that's going to be awesome." And it did. It looked great. Oh, so there's a little bit of overlap there, isn't there, Tracy? Yeah, that was really the first time I think I'd ever seen ostriches eat. Yeah, you're right. They just kind of scoop it in their mouth. I couldn't believe how quick they chomped on that. You gotta love the business model of that ostrich land. You're gonna raise ostriches so you can get their eggs and sell the eggs, and then what do? You open it up as a tourist attraction, get people to pay to come in to see your ostriches, and then pay you for the food to feed them. It's genius. Then on top of that, then they have a merch shop on the way out, so it's more money. I don't know. It was fun. It was yeah. I was glad I went. Yeah, that's what that song's called, Yvonne. Yakety Sax. You're right. Yeah. No, I didn't buy the puppet. The only thing I bought was the magnet. In fact, it was the magnet, the magnet that I used for the cover photo for the live stream today. That was that sign they had out in front that said "Feed this bad boy." They had a magnet of that, so I said, "Okay." That's what I've been doing a lot lately when I go traveling. Is I buy magnets because that's a cool, easy way to remember different places. Yeah, I know they do have kind of eyelashes too. That kind of surprised me a little bit. The only souvenir I got from it, well, I mean, I got a couple of Solvang magnets too. Let me actually, I'll get you the magnets and let you see them here. I like that song by Pink Floyd. I don't know if I showed you these on video or not, but that was the photo that I used for the live stream this morning. That's that magnet. Feed this bad boy. And then I got this one for my as a memorial to memorize my or to memorialize my Solvang trip. I thought that was kind of cool. All the windmills and it's got kind of that metallic background too, so it's kind of cool. No, I think they live outside. I didn't see any evidence of any place they would be able to go in. I think they just, you just they have a big lot of land there, and I think they just kind of go out and hide among the trees. That's what they do. That's what they do in the wild. So they don't have a place to live in the wild. An indoor place in the wild. So there was a while I think where I got an email every time somebody subscribed, but I don't think they do that anymore. Or maybe it stops when you hit a certain level. Good seeing you again, Tracy. Stop in again sometime. Yeah, I suppose there are also sorts of little specialty ethnic towns around the world like that. Yeah, well, that's it. The magnet. I was able to pop it into one of the pouches in the backpack, and that worked really well. But it was fun to check out that Viking museum, and that place was kind of cool. Yeah, that's what I thought too. And like I said, it's an easy way to remember. I got a decent collection of them now. I got stuff from the Mayborn Museum, the Perot Museum, um, Meteor Crater, Petrified Forest. Uh, when I went all those caves down in San Antonio, when I went and visited the Alamo, got stuff from there from NASA. I don't know. It was hard to tell because I mean the people who were there, yeah, they were not. The people who obviously lived there were obviously really nice, but just there were a lot of tourists because it was Memorial Day weekend, and so it's hard to judge that. Nick and I think ruined the fun a little bit. I would have had more time or more fun, I think, enjoying the place if there wasn't like a trillion people there. Yeah, I had a few good meals. I intentionally went to places that I'd never been before. And so I found this cool sandwich shop over where the hotel was. It was pretty good. I had that Danish that morning. Talked to you about that. I found a really good steak place on the last day that I went. That was good. Yeah, I did it. Well, I had a Danish pastry on that first day on that video. It was actually the second day because the first day I just kind of went to kind of wander around and look. It was fun having a couple of days there. That really kind of gave me time to take the whole thing in and really kind of because I actually took 3 or 4 walking trips around in Solvang. So, I got in noon the first day on, what was it, Thursday, I guess. And, got a chance to check out the town at that point. Then Friday, the only thing I had to do was there was like a dinner to kind of meet the groom. And so we did that. And so that was the day I shot the Solvang video. Then the next day was the day of the wedding. And I think that was the day I went to no, I think I just kind of hung out that day in and around town. And then the next day, the day after the wedding, wait, no, it would have been the day of the wedding that I went to Ostrich Land. And then the day after is when I did the video that you'll see on Tuesday. Well, I got two things for $30 and the glass of milk, but yeah, it was still expensive. And I felt like I was diabetic for the rest of the day. Not having any problems with the lawnmower. It's working great. In fact, I think probably I got to get out and mow this week here because the lawn's starting to get a little long again. I don't do it as much in the backyard because that's a little bit more of a wild area for Flash, but I might end up doing it here at some point. But I definitely got to get the front. The front is getting a little long here. They were both very good, very, very, very sweet. Like I said, I felt like I was diabetic for the rest of the day. They did have bear claws there, but I didn't do that. Garden did good on the in the absence. In fact, I look at what I harvested just this morning. Got a whole bunch of Anaheim peppers that are ready to go here. So we'll be uh, we'll be doing something with that before too long. And I found another one that Flash got. So I guess she's eating the Anaheim peppers too. And then I harvested some jalapeno peppers the last week, and I peppered those, so or pickled those. And of course, the tomatoes are coming along really nice. They're going to be. I'm going to get some good tomatoes this year, so there's a lot of them on there that are probably about the size of a plum now. So, another week or two, hopefully they'll start producing too here. Yeah, yeah. Flash loves peppers. You can tell too. You can look at like the bite radius and say, "Yep, that's Flash." I don't think a mammal or something like that is going to do well. I was wondering about that too this morning about the possum, but I don't think the possum would like, especially not the jalapenos. No, I didn't make it to the brewery. I'll have to hit that next time if I go again. I did get a good steak dinner though one night, and that was good. Like I said, I tried to eat places I'd never been before. Not just fast food or chains or something like that. Yeah, yeah. You never know what she's gonna like. She's usually, I mean, she's into veggies and some fruits. Doesn't really like citrus. Doesn't really like pineapple. But you know, she'll she loves grapes. She loves strawberries. Just about any kind of vegetable, corn, broccoli, cauliflower. Left leafy things like lettuce and kale, celery, carrots, Anaheim peppers. Yeah, that's what I ended up doing is getting a temporary license. In fact, that's one of the things I got to do this week now that I'm back is go get my license renewed. It'll be nice to get a new driver's license because now I can get my real address on it. My address on my current driver's license is still the address that I had at the apartment. And so that's always a question when I use it is like, is that your address? It's like, no, that's not accurate anymore. Yeah, I see robins, I see cardinals. The mourning doves have figured out how to get up on the feeder, uh, which I never expected to, would be able to get up there. But yeah, there's been a handful of different birds, including some ones that are a little on the unusual side. So it's been fun. The birds are going through those seed cakes about once a week now because I replaced the seed cake when I came back last week after my trip to California, and it's already gone. No, it's not in the spam account because I watch that enough because there is a bunch of legitimate stuff in there because that's I like I said I do have a burner account that I give out to any business that asks for it because that way if it ever gets out of hand I could just say okay, done with you, I'm going to delete that one, we'll move on, and then my friends have my real one. No, I think what tripped him up is I have a different mailing address now. Like cow, my hair is sticking out like crazy here. Yeah, that's what I expected. I just think I have a different mailing address and they probably mailed it to the wrong place. Yeah, I mean, that might be what it is, Gene. We are kind of early summer now, so maybe the babies are starting to leave the nest a little bit. That could be a factor, or it could just be the fact that since there's always food there, there's always water there, and relative protection because of all the trees and stuff like that. No real predators. That they're just learning of the place and saying, "Hey, there's good food here. We should hang out here." No, I haven't had a California license. I had a Texas license. I got a Texas license within a couple weeks of moving here. The problem is it expired. It expired. I didn't discover it expired um, until I tried to rent the car. I just never got any kind of memo from the DMV. So, like I said, I'll have to go out and get that straightened out this week. I'm legal because I can drive with my California license for a while. And it's funny, by the time I'll probably get my Texas license before I get my actual physical picture ID California license. Yeah, I've seen some of those, Gene. I've thought about that. Well, I'm glad I could get a temporary in another state because I would have been in deep trouble. It was a pain in the neck to do, though. Flash is what they call a gopher tortoise, and they're supposedly going to live 40 or 50 years in the wild. I've had her for 40 years, and she was full grown when I got her, so I have no idea how old she is. She's ancient, though. I'll give you that. That's exactly what would have had to happen, Gene. And that would have been a drag. Work has been crazy lately. Holy cow. We're bringing a couple of new lines online, and it's really, it's really a lot of work. I was only gone 3 days from work, though, so they didn't miss me that much. I am kind of looking forward to this weekend because Vacations, even though I had a long time off, it was like 10 days off. It didn't seem like that much to me because I think one of the things I look forward to on my weekends is being away from people. I don't know. I like kind of being alone sometimes, and it was hard to do that in Solvang. So it didn't seem like a 10-day vacation. Yeah, they're spending a lot of money on the place, so that's good for the future. But those growing pains can be extreme. And now we're kind of having little supply chain issues too. No, it's more internal. Yeah, the flight was pretty good. I've had problems in the past flying or even being in the car for a while. My legs tend to cramp up a little bit, so I actually splurged this time and flew first class because that gave me a little extra leg room, and I could, cross my legs during the trip, and that helped a lot. So it was a much more enjoyable flight. They really pack you in steerage. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I mean, it was kind of, especially on the way back, there was a few bumpy places because there were storms that we had to fly over, and that was exciting. A bunch of turbulence, and you couldn't really see a whole lot because of the clouds. But I like to have a window seat. A lot of people like to be in the aisle. I just like being able to look out the window and watch stuff happen, watch the world pass me by. No, in fact, my technique for addressing the issue back when you didn't check in via internet was to go up to the desk and ask if they had a room and had a seat in an exit row because that works nice too. You get all sorts of room there, but it's harder and harder to get exit rows because I guess more people have learned that trick. Yeah, I'm thinning out a little on the top, but I don't know. It's not too bad. Not as much as I should, Gene. Sometimes when I'm out in the sun for a lot, I come back on top of my head is a little sunburned. I got to do better at that. Got to start wearing a hat more. Sunburn on the top of the head really hurts. Kind of bakes your brain too a little bit. No, I don't know. I was thinking more just a ball cap or something. I got a couple caps that I keep in the car. Jordan Lion cap and Hmm. I have thought at some point I might go out and buy one. Just start a live stream up in full Western gear someday and not talk about it. Pretend like nothing's happening. I do have a straw hat that I use when I'm out and like working in the yard or something like that. Yeah, but imagine trying to use a hairbrush when you've got a sunburned head. That's especially painful. No, I think they're going to live in her place. It's something I'd love to learn to do, fly a plane. I don't know, I'm probably kind of old now, probably won't be doing that, but it is something that would be fun to try. Yeah, I was wondering that too, Gene. One of the problems you sometimes run into when you're doing these live streams is that sometimes the comments are coming from people who are watching maybe 5 minutes behind, and so they start talking about something that we were talking about 5 minutes ago, and yeah, they're hard to keep in aquariums too because they figure out how to get out. Yeah, but my numbers are bigger than most. Octopus. If I had an aquarium and could figure out how to keep the octopus in there, I'd love to have an octopus as a pet. They're beautiful creatures, especially the ones that can color shift. I think the one she's talking about though is on Netflix. Seems to me I've seen it advertised. That's another part of also the reason that movie theaters are kind of going under because a lot of stuff is just being released on Netflix or one of the streaming services now. They're bypassing the theater. I mean, there's really little investment. It's not like, DVDs where you got to go out and have them made or something like that. All you got to do is just digitize it and people can download it. Hey, bye. Yep, I'm still talking to my laptop. Bye. Try it. Yeah, exactly. I agree with you there, Susan. And I got a pretty decent theater here too, so it's nice to be able to do that. I don't think I would go full Western with a cowboy hat and like change my persona or anything like that. But it would be fun to have one. Thanks for stopping in, Gene. See you next time. Well, like I said, I got already got kind of a straw hat that I use when I'm working in the yard and stuff like that. It was the one that I bought when I was unloading the pods when I first moved here. So you remember that first summer, it was really hot. Well, I mean, it's hot every summer here, but get a horse. I don't know about that. Ride a horse, maybe. Trigger. No, that's been taken. Call him trite. Right, trite. Are you trite? Huh? You just gonna sit down there and look pathetic? I think Tripe's about to visit us here. He's trying to work up the courage. Big Daddy Tex. I don't know about that. I guess he gave up. Probably fed him so many treats before he weighs so much now he can't leap up onto the chair. Oh well. Probably having food come already anyway because of the treats. Sheriff Big Daddy Tex. I don't know about that. No, my eyes are a little dry right now. That's what's bugging me. Sometimes I get some dry eye. Now, jet lag should be done by now. I came back on Monday, on Tuesday, I mean. So, it's been 4 days. And it's only 2 hours. No, I get a little dry eye here sometimes when I'm on the live stream. Not sure why. No, but we've got we've been in the 90s, mid 90s, and that's what it's going to be today. Hopefully, going to be some rain coming in on Tuesday. That'd be nice. No, I don't have the fan going today. The fan is off. That sometimes causes problems because you end up with the air circulation causing that. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm staring at the screen so much. Yeah, but there's no cat here, so no, I don't think that's what we're dealing with. Yeah, let me get some eye drops here. Hold on a second. Be right back. All right, we'll see if that helps. Now it looks like I'm crying, right? Yeah, it's never perfect. All right, let's get the eyeballs on here so I can start reading again. Yeah, I did sleep. I slept well last night. A little more than 8 hours, actually. because I think I went to bed at 11, got up about 8, so that was almost 9 hours. Seemed like they were mostly vegetarians, so they probably eat like grasses and stuff like that. Not so far. No, turtle Flash has had encounters with possums both here and in California. So yeah, she's lived in a bunch of different places. Started out living in the house and that I lived in Garden Grove when I first found her. Then she came with me to Placentia when I lived there. And then when I moved away and my parents moved out of their house, well, when I moved away, she went back to my parents' house and then she went to Beth's house and now she's here. No, no passport. Yeah, maybe not woman of the world, but at least woman of the nation. She's lived in 2 states now, so far as I know. 40 to 50 degrees, what, 45 to 50 with rain. That actually sounds like heaven right now, considering it's 90, 95 degrees out and probably the humidity is at least that high. But that's the beauty. When you get the humidity, then you get the potential for rain too. So that's always nice. That's what they say in Texas, though. Don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes. It'll be worse. Right, some of my jalapenos are getting to the point where they don't float anymore. That's a good thing. That's what we want. Want them to settle to the bottom. There's a little bit of it back here, but I try and avoid it. I can always tell when Flash is doing well though, because both here and in the place in California. There was like one or two places in the yard that she liked to eat, and in that area, she eats it right down to the ground. So there's like two bare patches in the backyard, and I know that's where she is whenever she's eating. I don't think there'd be any kind of a interaction between Flash and a possum though. There's nothing for the possum to gain. Yeah, that's what this is. These are jalapenos that I pickled last weekend. Haven't popped them open yet. Oh yeah, that we were talking about that earlier, John. Flash got into the garden, into the jalapeno garden, is eating my peppers. She likes the jalapenos, I think, more, but she's eating the Anaheims also. Munch, munch. Yeah, my sister and her family got here right at the right time in April because starting about early May, it started heating up, and uh, it will continue probably almost until November when it starts cooling down. We have a very, very long warm season here. I had really good luck with okra, but I'm not enough fan of okra. I'm not enough of a fan of okra to try it again. I mean, I had what 10 or 12 plants that were 8 or 9 feet tall, and produced a okra every day or so. You had to go out there and pick it every day. One of the problems you run into with okra is if you leave it on the vine too much, it becomes tough. Okra Winfrey, that's funny. Yeah, that's one of the things you got to deal with. It does kind of have a slimy consistency. I don't know. I've had it when I think it's good, but hmm. What's best though is the okra from Oklahoma. I don't know. I haven't thought about dinner tonight. I got to do something. We'll figure it out. I have the lasagna that I made a few months ago. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's time to start pulling that out. I won't be able to have that for dinner tonight, but maybe tomorrow night. Chicken Caesar salad. That does sound good. Well, I have been thinking. I wonder maybe to see if I can do something with the Anaheim peppers because I got a lot of those, and the Anaheim peppers aren't as hot as like the jalapenos. I have like a chart of different peppers and their hot level on a scale of 1 to 10, and like serrano peppers are showing up a 7 to 8. Jalapenos are showing up about 5. These are 5.5, I think is what they call them. These Anaheim peppers are supposed to be like 2 to 3. So it's maybe a little bit more than like bell peppers. Yeah, I have a barbecue and a smoker all in one. I did smoke some salmon once. I smoked a turkey one year for Thanksgiving. That was interesting. I don't know. I guess I just don't really have the patience for smoking. It's a long process. Actually, I saw something in the cafeteria at work yesterday. One of the people who runs the cafeteria there posted a recipe. And I might try that. That looked pretty good. Let's see. Let's look at the description here. Not that. Not that. Not that. This. It's salmon, fresh dill, cream cheese, fresh mushrooms, onion, pepper, egg, puff pastry, sour cream, garlic, spinach, salt, and water. It looks pretty good. I don't know. Might have to try that sometime. It. It looked like some good ingredients. See, that's one of the things I like. I can usually tell if a recipe is going to be good just by looking at the ingredients. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I got one more video still in the can that we haven't put up yet. That'll go up on Tuesday. Well, a lot of times, Yvonne, that's what happens. We start talking about food here. I've tried baking bread and haven't really had good results with it. Eclairs, no, I think I'm eclaired out for a while. I don't know if I have any potato salad recipes or not. If there was one, I have it, but actually, I don't know, 6 or 8 months ago or something, my boss at work, uh, apparently he really loves to barbecue and smoke stuff on the grill. And he made us food and it included some of his homemade potato salad. Now, one of these days I got to get the recipe because that I think is the best potato salad I'd ever had. James, I got to choose. I got a choice between James Beard or James Bond bread. I don't know. I'm kind of a Bond fan, so James Bond bread might be kind of interesting. See, the thing is, I've never really been that much of a potato salad fan, but like I said, that stuff my boss made was amazing. Bond, James Bond bread. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe we'll do a cooking recipe or cooking vlog. I haven't done one of those in a while. They can be kind of fun. A pizza taco? How about a taco pizza? That would actually be that would be an interesting thing. A pizza show with taco spices and seasonings and refried beans, cheese. I don't know. That might be good. Could really suck too, but taco lasagna. That sounds good too, actually. I don't think we have a Trader Joe's here. I don't think the I don't know. It seems that made us what the I don't know. Let's look. Let's see what the nearest Trader Joe's is because I don't remember ever seeing one here. Yeah, there aren't any near. There's a lot of them in Austin. There's a lot of them in Dallas. There's one in Houston. But yeah, it looks like the nearest one is about 100 miles away. So that's probably not much of an option. Hmm. Bucky's, yeah. If I go to a Bucky's, I want to go to a different Bucky's. It's not a lot of fun going to the same one over and over again. That's probably true about Mr. Butts. But I don't know. HEB is all over the state, and they haven't stopped Trader Joe's and other places. You have three in Houston? I just saw one on the map. Oh, yeah, I know. I guess you're right. I just didn't zoom in far enough. Or is that what that is? No, that's just traffic conditions. You definitely got that in Houston. Yeah, I only see one of them a little north of Houston. I don't know. I've been to Houston once, and it was the traffic was just a mess. Jordan used to do Trader Joe's a lot. That was sort of the grocery store he went to when he lived in Hollywood in that little apartment that he had when he first started vlogging. Yeah, I would definitely do that if I go to Houston again. Because that day that I was in Houston, it took like 2 hours to get out of town. That's one of the reasons I left Southern California because there was a lot of places there that were the same way. That's why I like being kind of out in the middle of nowhere. Wednesday or Thursday, depending on the week. This week it'll be Thursday. It's my short. I'm my long weekend, so I'm going into my short weekend. Or I'm on my long weekend, so I go into my short week this week. So 4 days off, 3 days on. A lot of companies do that, Gene. I've heard rumors. A lot of people rave about Costco brand vodka, and I've heard rumors that Costco brand vodka is actually Blue Goose vodka with a Costco with a Kirkland name on it. Yeah, they're all over the place in California. See, we have an Aldi here, and I've been there once. I've never really been that impressed with it. The selection seemed kind of low. It almost seemed like the one I went to was almost like a low budget store geared towards, people who don't have a lot of money, kind of the Dollar Tree of grocery stores. I don't know. Maybe it's different at other places, but yeah, that's been my experience here. Because the closest, when I was in the apartment, the closest grocery store I had was an Aldi. I could walk there, but I still drove past that to go to HEB. Yeah, we don't really have a deli at the HEB I'm near. So they got like prepackaged stuff, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to drive, all the way to HEB to get something that isn't going to be much better than what I got at work. I live with what's at work. It's all right. I wish the portions were bigger. I end up having to buy two meals to fill up, but that's the way it goes. Company doesn't have to have a cafeteria on property. They do, so that's good. I like Boar's Head cheese. going to Bucky's, huh? Sounds like fun. Now, there's not a lot of theft around here. That's another thing I like about Texas. Crime is really low here. Yeah, I know. We actually throw people in jail. Who'd have thought that would actually work? Yeah, I don't do much fast food. For a while there, they were remodeling the cafeteria, and I went out to there was a Schlotsky's and a few other things in the area. I like Schlotsky. Schlotsky's is good. I've also kind of become a fan recently of Jersey Mike's. There's a few of those in town too. Yeah, let me let you in a little secret. Gas station food usually isn't very good anywhere. Well, I think just about anything can be delivered now with what Uber Eats or whatever it is. Yeah, there's a couple things Jersey Mike's makes that are pretty good. Well, we gotta have a lot of Schlotzsky's around here because Schlotzsky's started in Austin, Texas. That was the first one, and so they're still around here. They were in California too. My parents like Schlotzsky's, so we went there a lot. Anyway, I think I put in my 2 hours. So we're gonna pull the plug on this one. We'll pick this up again next week. Thanks everyone for stopping by and hanging out with me for a little while. I had a good time, and I'll see you next time. Good night.